Section 1. The Illusion of Speed. A Tale of Two Horizons. Is speed without accuracy real progress, or is it just a dangerous illusion? Think about this. In our modern world, we worship quick results. We love everything that happens instantly. But what happens when speed loses its soul? Look at the viral videos on your social media feed. In modern China, massive skyscrapers rise from the ground within weeks. Entire residential blocks appear almost overnight. It looks like a miracle of human energy. It feels like the absolute peak of modern innovation. But we also see shocking news reports. Some of these brand new concrete towers crumble like dry tofu. They suffer from terrible structural flaws. They are built too fast, driven by quick capital and rushed timelines. This is a strategy of trial and error, moving fast and fixing mistakes later. Now let us look across the sea to Japan. Here you see a completely different kind of speed. Japan is famous for its lightning-fast infrastructure miracles. Think about the sinkhole in Fukuoka that was repaired in just a few days. Think about the Shinkansen bullet trains. They are cleaned perfectly in just 7 minutes. These operations are blindingly fast, yet they achieve millimeter-precise accuracy. There are no mistakes. There is no cutting corners. Both nations can move at incredible speeds. However, their core philosophies are completely opposite. One country runs forward blindly to chase massive scale. The other country choreographs every single movement to achieve flawless perfection. It is a battle between raw velocity and synchronized discipline. So let us start with a vital question for you today. When you look at the products and buildings in your own country, what do you see? Do you see things built with cheap speed? Or do you see high-speed precision that you can actually trust with your life? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below. Section 2. 2 ways to be fast trial by error versus perfect choreography. To understand this difference, we must look deeper into how these two cultures actually work. Speed is not just about moving your hands fast. It comes from a specific mindset. In China, speed is fueled by raw survival energy. The market changes at a blinding pace. If you pause to make a perfect plan, you lose your chance. Therefore, builders and tech creators launch projects immediately. They build fast, fail fast, and fix things on the road. It is a chaotic, high-energy environment. When it works, it creates instant empires. But when it fails, it creates the unstable towers we see in the news. Japan approaches speed from the exact opposite direction. In Japanese culture, there is a sacred word called Dandori. This means meticulous, flawless preparation before you even start. Japanese craftsmen and engineers spend 80% of their time planning in silence. They calculate every single movement. They predict every possible mistake. Every worker knows exactly where to stand and what to do. Because the setup is so perfect, the final execution looks like lightning. It is like a beautiful, highly rehearsed ballet. This is why a Japanese train platform can be transformed overnight. It is why a shattered highway can be rebuilt in days. It is not slow. It is the fastest possible way to achieve total perfection. On the very first try. This is the great secret of the Japanese artisan. True speed is not about rushing into chaos. True speed is the ultimate result of perfect discipline and deep respect for the craft. Section 3. Imperial grandeur versus sacred micro-precision. To truly understand these modern mindsets, we must travel back in time. The architectural roots of both nations tell a fascinating story. They reveal how they learned to view the world around them. Ancient China was a massive empire with vast borders. Its architecture reflected incredible power and cosmic order. Think about the Great Wall or the Forbidden City. These structures were built to shock the human mind. They used immense numbers of workers to reshape entire landscapes. To the Chinese emperors, building was an act of political dominance. It was about creating grand monuments that could unite a huge, changing territory under one central authority. Scale and visual impact were the ultimate goals. Now, look at the historical landscape of Japan. Japan is an island nation with very limited space. More importantly, it is a land shaped by violent nature. For centuries, Japanese builders faced constant typhoons, volcanic eruptions, and devastating earthquakes. They quickly realized that they could not conquer nature through raw size. Instead, they had to understand it. This environment birthed Shinto animism, the belief that gods live inside trees, rivers, and stones. Therefore, cutting a tree to build a temple became a sacred act. A Japanese carpenter was not just a worker. He was a spiritual guardian. He had to treat the wood with absolute respect. He learned to cut and fit every beam with millimeter precision. China built grand monuments to master the earth. Japan built flawless, compact structures to survive with the earth. This ancient dedication to sacred precision is where the true soul of the Japanese artisan was born. Section 4. Preserving the pure standard. How Japan outlasts bloodlines. There is a fascinating riddle in global business. Why does Japan hold over 40% of the world's oldest companies? These are enterprises that have survived for hundreds, sometimes even 1,000 years. The secret behind this incredible longevity is not found in biology. It is found in a deep philosophical choice. Japan values the perfection of the craft far beyond simple family genetics. In many traditional cultures, like in China or Europe, business inheritance was strictly tied to bloodlines. A father would always pass his empire to his eldest son. This seems natural, but it carries a major risk. What happens if the son has no talent? What if he does not care about the quality of the family work? In a hyper-competitive market, a weak leader can destroy a century of reputation in just a few years. To prevent this ruin, Japan developed a unique cultural mechanism called mukoyoshi, or adult adoption. If a master craftsman or a business owner did not have a capable son, he did not surrender his legacy to fate. Instead, he searched the nation for the most talented apprentice. He would adopt this young master into the family, often marrying him to his daughter. This adopted son would take the family name. More importantly, he became the guardian of the family standard. Through this practice, the bloodline might change, but the uncompromising quality of the work remained perfectly pure. This is how Japan's oldest names outlasted wars, economic crashes, and shifting eras. They realized that human genes are fragile. True permanence belongs only to the uncompromised standard of the craft. Section 5. The Master's Ultimate Test. Surviving the Angry Earth. To see this philosophy in its physical form, we must examine traditional Japanese carpentry. For centuries, Japanese masters built grand structures under a constant threat. They knew that a massive earthquake could strike at any single moment. This brutal reality forced them to invent the world's most resilient engineering. The greatest example of this genius is a traditional technique called Kigumi. This is the art of interlocking wooden joints without using a single metal, nail, bolt, or glue. To the modern mind, building a complex tower without nails sounds slow and impractical. But in reality, it is a masterpiece of speed and absolute accuracy. Every wooden beam is cut with incredible precision, down to a fraction of a millimeter. The geometric joints are designed to snap together perfectly on the construction site. Because the preparation, or Dandori, is so flawless, the actual assembly happens at astonishing speed. The pieces fit together like a giant three-dimensional puzzle. But the real magic happens when the earth begins to shake. Metal nails can bend, snap, or tear through wood under intense pressure. However, Kigumi joints are flexible. They allow the entire wooden structure to twist, breathe, and absorb the massive energy of an earthquake. The building sways like a living tree, but it never collapses. This is not just old tradition. It is the foundation of modern Japanese engineering. It proves that ultimate accuracy creates the ultimate speed and absolute resilience. Section 6. The modern test rushed capital versus flawless execution. Now let us bring these philosophies into the modern world. Today, we see the real-world consequences of these two opposite paths. The results are visible on our news feeds every single day. In modern China, the obsession with pure speed and massive scale has reached a limit. To build mega cities overnight, developers often cut corners. They use weak sand instead of proper concrete. They rush the workers to finish before the deadline. This has created a famous crisis known as Tofu-dreg engineering. Brand new apartment towers show massive cracks, and some even collapse without an earthquake. This is the tragic cost of chasing quick profits without an accurate foundation. It shows that speed without precision is incredibly fragile. Now, look at a modern construction site in Tokyo. It looks completely different. It does not look like chaos. Instead, it looks like a highly synchronized ballet. Every single steel beam arrives at the exact minute it is needed. Workers use advanced lasers to measure alignments down to the millimeter. Even under the pressure of tight commercial deadlines, safety and absolute accuracy are never sacrificed. Japan builds its modern skyscrapers to survive the most violent disasters, yet they still finish them with incredible speed. They prove that true efficiency means doing it perfectly on the very first try. One culture risks human lives to save time. The other culture invests time to protect human lives. This is the ultimate modern divide between raw velocity and disciplined perfection. So, let us stop here for a very important question. When you see modern buildings rising in your city, which philosophy do you think they follow? Are they rushing for quick money, or are they practicing the disciplined precision of a true master? Share your experiences in the comments below. Section 7. Rebuilding the eternal staying fast and perfect through tradition. To understand how Japan keeps its quality pure forever, we must look at a beautiful paradox. True permanence does not mean freezing something in ice. In the Japanese artisan philosophy, to stay the same, you must renew completely. The ultimate example of this is the Ise Grand Shrine. This sacred wooden structure has existed for over 1,000 years. But here is the secret. The buildings you see today are not old at all. Every 20 years, the entire shrine is completely destroyed and rebuilt from scratch on a matching plot of land next to it. This incredible ritual is called Shikinen Sengu. Why do they do this? Wood naturally rots over time. If you just patch it up, the original architectural genius will slowly fade away. By rebuilding it completely every 20 years, the ancient blueprints remain alive. More importantly, this 20-year cycle is the ultimate test of high-speed, flawless execution. It matches the exact timeline of a human career. A young apprentice helps build the shrine for the first time. 20 years later, he is a seasoned master, leading the next generation to build it again. Before he retires, he passes the perfect, millimeter-precise secrets to the youth. The blueprints, the tools, and the sacred movements are transmitted with zero errors. It is a continuous high-speed loop of perfection. Japan does not preserve the physical wood. It preserves the human ability to create perfection instantly. This is how they conquer time itself. Section 8. The Shinise Blueprint. An antidote to global short-termism. Now let us turn our eyes toward the modern West. For decades, global business has been obsessed with a famous Silicon Valley motto. That motto is move fast and break things. We are told to rush products into the market, beat the competition, and worry about the damage later. This mentality has created massive wealth, but it has also created a disposable world. We see short-term profits, followed by long-term corporate burnouts and structural failures. Today, this aggressive model is reaching its absolute limit. People are feeling deeply fatigued by fragile software, collapsing supply chains, and low-quality products. The global economy is desperately searching for a sustainable alternative. This is exactly why the world is now turning its attention back to the Japanese concept of Shinise. A Shinise is a traditional business that remains fast, adaptive, and highly accurate across multiple generations. These companies do not chase rapid, explosive scale just to please greedy investors. Instead, they focus on long-term resilience and absolute trust with their community. They prove a profound truth to modern leaders. You do not have to break things to be fast. You can move with incredible, lightning-fast efficiency while building a legacy that remains unbreakable. This is the ultimate corporate blueprint for a changing world. It shifts our focus from mindless consumption back to deep, intentional craftsmanship. Section 9. The Victory of Precision. Why quality must define speed. Let us look at the final verdict on value. We cannot deny that pure speed and massive scale have a specific purpose. China's hyperscale model was an incredible engine for growth. It lifted millions of people out of poverty in just one generation. It was a necessary tool for a rapidly expanding era. But our world has changed, and we have reached a clear turning point. Today, we are facing the hard limits of our planet. We have too much disposable concrete. We have too much fragile technology and too much wasted energy. Chasing quantity over quality has made our modern societies incredibly vulnerable. This is where the victory of precision becomes undeniable. True progress in the future cannot be measured by how fast you can build a fragile tower or how quickly you can flood the market with cheap goods. Instead, true progress will be measured by resource efficiency, absolute safety, and long-term durability. This is exactly why Japan's artisan philosophy is the ultimate answer for tomorrow. When you operate with high-speed precision, you eliminate waste completely. You do not need to fix mistakes because you do not make mistakes. You do not need to rebuild the world every 10 years because you built it to last for generations. The era of mindless volume is coming to an end. The future belongs to those who can combine lightning-fast efficiency with an uncompromising love for perfection. Quality must conquer quantity. Section 10. The ultimate choice. What kind of future will you build? We have traveled through two completely different worlds today. We looked at the roaring engine of hyperscale, and we witnessed the quiet majesty of sacred precision. Ultimately, these are not just different ways to build architecture or manage a business. They are two opposite paths for the human soul. Our lives are very short. Every day, we choose what to do with our limited time and energy. We can choose the path of cheap speed. We can rush through our projects, chase instant validation, and build fragile things that disappear tomorrow. It is easy, it is loud, and it fills the world with temporary noise. But the Japanese artisan offers us a much higher invitation. They show us that we can be fast, highly efficient, and deeply successful without ever sacrificing our personal integrity. They teach us to treat our materials, our relationships, and our daily work with absolute respect, to stand firm under pressure like a perfectly calculated wooden tower, and to pass our very best standards to the next generation. So, as we close this journey, the final choice belongs entirely to you. In your own life, your career, and your creative work. What are you currently constructing? Are you pouring temporary concrete that will crack in 5 years? Or are you carving an eternal legacy that will outlast time itself? Bring the spirit of the true master into your world today. Be fast, be accurate, and build things that are made to last forever. Thank you for watching.